sports business does start. This is Smart 24 TV. This is SMB. I'm Joram Post-Soko to give you the latest in terms of sports business here on the show. And of course, it is that time in the day, the time in the hour where we definitely say, here we go in the terms of the sports business here in Smart 24. All right, now starting off, we start from the local news update as 10-man Ugandan cranes were held by Physical Mali in a scoreless duel as the FIFA World Cup 2022 qualifiers of Group E did end into match 2. Now, as match day 2 of the FIFA 2022 qualifiers for Group E did take center stage, a heavy rainstorm at the start of the game completely changed the game plan for these two sides as the ball movement was also affected. Now, speaking of which, for the second consecutive there as they shared the sport with the 0-0. And of course, ever since Milton Mitchell Jovic took the main job of Uganda's Cranes as the head coach, he has not yet won in a competitive match as of now, and he's still waiting for his first win. And of course, as the international break comes to an end on Wednesday, Uganda Cranes will be looking up to the next matches up against Rwanda, where it will be an head-to-head encounter, one in Uganda and the other in Kigali, where Uganda will go head-to-head with Rwanda. Will Uganda secure 6 points out of that? We'll clearly wait and see. Remember, Milton Mitchell Jovic, who is the current coach of Uganda Cranes, has also coached the Rwandese national team before. So clearly we shall see if Uganda will fare well with the Amavubi Stars. As of now, Uganda is number 2 on the group standings with only 2 points apiece, no goals scored so far and no goals against the Uganda Cranes. So they haven't conceded. So should we say their defense is actually moving well, but they haven't conceded, neither have they scored any goal in the final third of the pitch. But they are number 2 with Mali coming in at number 1 with 4 points. The second on the group is Uganda Cranes. Third is Kenya with 2 points as well, and lastly is Rwanda, which has 1 point following that draw with Kenya. All right, now leaving that particular story, we head to the international scene in terms of the sports business, and of course to let you know what is making headlines across the globe. Now moving on, we head to England now, as Tottenham Hotspur is set to find Giovanni Lo Celso and Cristian Romero after defying club orders. Now, Giovanni Lo Celso and Cristian Romero both took part in Argentina's controversial clash with Brazil that was suspended on Sunday. Now, the pair defied club orders to join up with their national team and will be fined. Now, both, along with Emiliano Martinez and Emiliano Buendia, will train in Croatia before joining their respective clubs in England. Now, Tottenham duo Giovanni Lo Celso and Cristiano Romero are set to actually be fined by the club after joining up with Argentina national squad without permission. Now, Lo Celso and Romero will be disciplined for making the trip to South America for games against Venezuela and Brazil, against the club's wishes, with both players expected to receive hefty fines. Now, Lo Celso and Romero are planning to fly into Croatia alongside Aston Villa's Emiliano Martinez and Emiliano Buendia. Now, following the controversial suspension of Argentina's World Cup qualifier with Brazil to avoid having to quarantine, the four Argentine Premier League best players were accused of not following the strict COVID protocols upon entering Brazil. Now, crucially, Buendia and Martinez have both followed the agreement set out with Villa before they left for the international break, and there is no suggestion they have done anything wrong. But the same cannot be said for the Tottenham duo, who did not go through the rightful procedure before leaving for international duty. Now, if it goes as the players wish, each of them will only miss 1 Premier League match before being available for the selection again, as that would mean Martinez and Buendia would miss Villa's trip to Stamford Bridge to face Chelsea, while Lo Celso and Romero would both miss Spurs' visit to Crystal Palace. Now, it is understood that the flight and accommodation of Croatia is being organized by the players and their respective their representatives directly, rather than with the involvement of their respective clubs. Now, Tottenham are in difficult positions because Romero only joined the club a month ago for a fee of £42 million from Atalanta, while its thought Spurs officials do not want to damage the new relationship, they nevertheless feel they need to enforce a strong message concerning discipline. Now, a few weeks back, most of the English Premier League clubs were actually calling on and actually signed an agreement that they would not accept players from South America to go and feature for their respective clubs unless the terms and conditions are passed through. And this is one of the reasons as to why the duo of Tottenham, that is Lo Celso, Giovanni Lo Celso and Christian Romero, that took part of Argentina's clash, are going to face a number of fines from Tottenham because they left without the consent of their teams, and clearly they will be fined with some hefty fines as well as missing some Premier League matches if at all the case goes as per Spurs' will. And clearly this is after South America is still battling with COVID-19, and greatly as the governments are also trying so much to make sure they vaccinate most of their citizens in there, and that is why most Premier League clubs do not want their players to go over there so that they can actually come back when they have already contracted the virus. That is one of the reasons as to why they had not accepted their players to go back to South America, being the fact that South American countries are already under the red flag in terms of the World Health Organization. Clearly, one of the reasons as to why these particular players were never accepted to leave their clubs. Not only in England, however, also some other teams were actually identifying that their players would not be accepted to join their national teams, more so from South America. All right, now moving on to the next one. Now we head to Paris, where the PSG chairman, that is the Nasser El-Khelaifi, said that the 12 clubs involved in the failed European Super League have been told their plans were the stuff of fabulists and failure. That is according to the Paris Saint-Germain chairman, Nasser El-Khelaifi. Now, Premier League sides Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United and Tottenham withdrew within 72 hours of founding of the Super League alongside 6 other clubs in April 2021. Now, AC Milan, Inter Milan and Atletico de Madrid also withdrew, while Barcelona, Real Madrid and Juventus have not renounced the breakaway competition. That is Barcelona, Real Madrid and Juventus. Mostly their chairmen are actually still in terms of finding a way of getting back into business. In fact, because COVID-19 actually caused a number of them. That is why Barcelona is greatly still in debt, and it has actually laid off a number of players, most notably Lionel Messi and Antoine Griezmann, who had to exit the Catalonian club. Right now, all of the Premier League clubs were represented apart from Chelsea, who accessed proceedings via video link, and the 9 clubs who withdrew from the Super League rejoined the ECA last month after leaving in April. That is they joined the ECA last month after leaving in April, but Barcelona, Real Madrid and Juventus have not yet been reinstated. As Al-Khelaifi said, together we defended the interests of European football for everyone. We relied on the resolve and strength of UEFA President Alexander Ceferin, who stood up to the midnight coup. He said, we will win, and we did. That is what he actually said, Khelaifi. Now, the European Super League has 9 clubs that abandoned Breakaway League retain ECA membership. Now, Al-Khelaifi, yes, did welcome the return of the 6 Premier League clubs to the ECA, as it is anticipated the Premier League representative will also return to the ECA Executive Committee on Tuesday. And evidently, passions around the Super League concept remain high, and in his speech, UEFA President Ceferin could not resist an attack on former ECA chairman, Juventus owner Andrea Agnelli, as he welcomed Al-Khelaifi's appointment. Now, such warm words between UEFA's most senior official and the man who runs PSG will make some feel uncomfortable in the fact that for all the euphoria around the successful fight against Super League, this summer's transfer window has hinted at fewer clubs competing at the elite end of the game. Now, a look at the Premier League duo Arsenal and Manchester United, both spent in excess of £130 million in players, while Manchester City broke the British transfer record to buy Jack Grealish from Aston Villa at £100 million. And Chelsea did spend 97.5 million on Inter Milan forward Romelu Lukaku, and we clearly showed you how this particular Premier League side spent a lot of money in terms of buying these particular players. Now, Lionel Messi and Sergio Ramos also headed a quotient of free transfer arrivals at PSG that will earn enormous wages, whilst the French club also turned down in a bid excess of £100 million from Real Madrid for striker Kylian Mbappe, even though he can leave for nothing next summer. All right, now you can clearly see, if you excuse me, now you can clearly see what it means to the English Premier League sides of Manchester City, Tottenham, Liverpool, as well as Arsenal. Those are among the teams that had actually signed to be part of the European Super League. That did not even last for more than a week in regards to that, as it was still in its center stages of development until its foundation is when actually UEFA came out to say no to the UEFA Super League, because most of even the ex-officials or the ex-players were actually saying it is a robber for the true right of football. That is why most of the teams, all the small rated teams, did not buy the idea, because the bigger clubs wanted to set up their own league because they have the money, which was actually spoiling the beauty of the football game. And clearly you could see what the ECA has a new president, that is a new chairman, that is Mr. El Khelaifi. That is the president and chairman of PSG, and now the chairman of ECA. So clearly you could see what it means and what impact it lays on board for European football in that particular regard. And of course, European teams have also taken very huge steps. One of those clubs that have actually taken huge steps in terms of the transfer market to buy a number of players include Arsenal and Manchester United, who had also been part of the 72 hours team that was in the UEFA Super League that was about to be formed up. All right, now moving on, still in Europe now, we head to Manchester. That is the red side of Manchester at Old Trafford. Now, Cristiano Ronaldo is breaking records off and on the pitch, in the cells and on the pitch. Now, Cristiano Ronaldo's new Manchester United number 7 smashes shirt sales record and causes media frenzy, as Cristiano Ronaldo's number 7 shirt has smashed Man United's sale records in under 4 hours, breaking down Messi's record of shirt sales for PSG. Now, the return of the Portuguese captain caused sensation, caused a sensation in club store and on social media. Now, Ronaldo, who's expected to make second Old Trafford debut against Newcastle this week on Saturday, as Cristiano Ronaldo broke Manchester United's daily shirt sales record in less than 4 hours after it was confirmed he would retain his iconic number 7 jersey from the main man, Edison Cavani. Now, the Portuguese forward secured a long-awaited return to Old Trafford in August, and is currently isolating ahead of his first visit to Carrington, and is expected to be back on Thursday. Now, as United confirmed Ronaldo will wear number 7 on Thursday, fans dashed into online stores to actually secure a replica, and it only took 4 hours to smash the record as the highest daily sale on a single sports merchandise outside North America. Now, Fanatics, as well as United's official retail partner, that is Fanatics, that is United's official retail partner, confirmed that the shirt sales hit record figures, and the first hour alone battered the best full day of global sales for the club's online store. Now, across the Fanatics network, Ronaldo became the biggest selling player in the 24 hours following a transfer to a new club, leading Lionel Messi of when he was joining PSG, Tom Brady to Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and LeBron James to LA Lakers in terms of the 24 hours sales in the jerseys. It was only on the internet that Ronaldo's new printed shirt was in demand. However, United's club store, it was not only on the internet, that Ronaldo's newly printed shirt was on demand, as United's club store was actually at Old Trafford, was also a popular destination on Friday morning as fans queued up to get their hands on the number 7, the iconic CR7. And you could clearly see those club sales for Manchester United. What it means, it was one of the things that Manchester City Manchester City wanted to go back and sign Cristiano Ronaldo. Were among the teams that were expected to sign Cristiano Ronaldo, but it did not happen. So Manchester United are clearly winning in terms of the bank. So we shall wait and see whether Ronaldo will bring this particular form onto the ground and secure a trophy for Manchester United, who are actually waiting for another major trophy after some good times, and also waiting for another major Premier League title since 2013 when they were still under Ferguson. So you can clearly see Sir Alex Ferguson. So that is a very long way away down the road. That's 9 years away since Manchester United actually got themselves another trophy in that particular regard. Now, It was apparently not only on the internet in that regard where Ronaldo did win in terms of making sure the shirt sales increase. But what we do understand is most of the people in Uganda, even in Uganda, have not received any good quality of a Cristiano Ronaldo replica. Those are some of the jerseys that have known tricks. If I'm to look at the jerseys that are actually on high demand in Africa, also include the Ajax Bob Marley featured jersey. That was the Bob Marley inspired jersey, the black. That is the third away kit for Ajax that has black and levels of the Jamaica's flag. Is one of those shirts that are actually also on the market, as many people actually wanting to buy those particular shirts. So Cristiano Ronaldo also is set to make his debut for Man United following his return to the Manchester United Old Trafford, since his return to Old Trafford. And he actually came out on his social media platforms and said, well, 7 is the magical number. That is why he had to retain his number. And I was also thankful to the fact that Edison Cavani pulled up a good gesture to return his 7 to him, Cristiano Ronaldo, because he wasn't sure he would retain his 7 on his return to Manchester United. And meanwhile, we shall wait and see how he fares on his debut for Manchester at Old Trafford against Newcastle in that particular regard. And also we'll wait and see, will Manchester United increase the ticket sales, because Ronaldo will attract a number of spectators onto the pitch that day. All right, now moving on, still in Manchester though, now we head to the blue side of Manchester. The defending champions, that is Manchester City, the defending champions of 2020-2021 Premier League season, have actually offered to nearly quadruple of Phil Foden's wages with a mega contract. Now, Phil Foden has been tabled a huge new contract by Manchester City as a reward for his superb year after Pep Guardiola snapped bringing in new Chelsea signing Saul Niguez this summer. Now, after star Phil Foden is being offered a new long-term deal at Etihad and a bumper pay rise of a 6-year contract worth £150,000 a week is on the table for the England midfielder as a reward for his superb breakthrough year with both club and country off the back of the Euro 2020. Now, the Premier League champions are keen to bring Foden, currently on £40,000 a week, into line with a host of other City stars' open major contract extensions. So he was actually earning £40,000 weekly. Now he is going to £150,000 weekly. That is an increase of £110,000 over there in terms of what Phil Foden is set to actually get, and from his new contract with Manchester City. Now the skipper Kevin De Bruyne, Brazilian keeper Ederson, and central defenders Ruben Dias and John Stones have all agreed new terms in the recent weeks. Now Foden, who is currently 21, who has missed the start of the new season with a foot injury, did pick up at the Euros, will add his name to the group with a mega nearly quadruple his money deal, as you can definitely see, from £40,000 weekly down to £150,000 weekly. Those are rough, well, like I said, £110,000 on an increase. And another at the Etihad expected to commit his future soon is reserve goalkeeper Zach Steffen. As meanwhile, Chelsea's new Spanish midfielder Saul Niguez ended up at Stamford Bridge after City snapped the chance to sign him to the Etihad. Now Niguez, who is 25, joined Thomas Tuchel's bench on a season-long loan from Atletico Madrid just before last week's transfer deadline. All right, now you can clearly see, as Manchester City want to defend their Premier League title ahead, because we're already in the due course of the 2021-2022 Premier League season. You could see that boosting and giving Phil Foden more money will clearly give him a boost to his form, and see how he's going to fare in that particular regards to how the different players will fare for Manchester City. That is actually on his contract extension that would see him for the club for further years, and to crop off other people would want to actually have an interest in Phil Foden to remove the to actually get him away from the Etihad to other ventures over there. Now Manchester City, that is all in terms of Phil Foden and making sure that they get him signed on to that particular idea. And of course, as the business stories here are basically to give you an insight into the business in the sport and see which club is actually spending which type of money and which money is being spent on which player, and how much does a player do, and in regards to his different employment contracts in that particular aspect. And of course, this is Smart Means Business. This is Sports Business on Smart 24 TV. I'm Joram Paul Sonko. Twitter at Joram Paul Sonko. Facebook at Joram Paul Sonko. Instagram at Joram Paul Sonko as well. And you can, and of course, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Smart 24 TV. That is, if at all you want to give us your feedback in regards to how many the business stories, and also feedback on the sports business stories that we do have here. The YouTube channel is Smart 24 TV. If you want to stream live, it's Smart 24 TV Live. You can clearly get the services over there. Share those links and also give us your comments and the feedback. You want to advertise with us, the website is www.smart24tv.com, or get us at Commercial Road, Plot 29A in Nakuru. Bring your businesses so that we can definitely drive them to your customers on, as well as your service consumers in that particular aspect. For now, this brings the end of the sports business for this particular hour. We should do this next 12 hours coming up on Smart Means Business. But now, into a short break is where we're heading to. And after that, news coming up, and as well as an analysis, an interview in terms of construction and what we do expect from an insight from a professional engineer. This is SMP.